Hello, this is Maria and welcome to my stamping world. Last week I showed you how to make the individual medallions or lollies, and this week I'm going to show you how I made the base for this out of cardboard. Now I like to try to recycle as many materials as possible. This is a piece of cardboard, a 12 by 12 from the Designer Series papers. And I'm also going to be using strips of paper from the packing from Stampin' Up! Orders. I had to think for a bit what I could use to trace a circle that would be appropriate for the size of the wreath. And I spied my dinner dishes in the cupboard, and so this dinner plate is 11 inches across, which is perfect. So with the pencil, I just traced a circle all the way around, and that becomes the outside of the wreath. And then my cake pan, which is 8 inches across, which gives me a good size wreath. Now you wanna center that as best you can all the way around, and you just trace. And there you have the base of your wreath. All I have to do now is cut it out. Just a quick note, sometimes the cardboard with the Designer Series paper is a little flimsy, so you might want to do 2 of them and glue them together. But sometimes the cardboard, here's one that I have started to cut out, is quite thick, and I quite like that. I think this is perfect for the wreath. So here I have started one. I've cut it out, and basically what I did is with a pair of paper snips, I pierced a hole in the center, and then I just cut pie-shaped wedges all the way around, and then with the scissors, you can fold it up a little bit, and then with the scissors or snips, actually I think I probably need heavier duty scissors than this, cut out each individual wedge. So I'll finish doing that off camera and I'll be right back. So here I have my circle all cut out. I've cut along the outside edges, and then as I said, I pierced a hole in the middle, cut pie-shaped wedges all the way around, and cut only to the pencil line. And there you have the base for your wreath. But I'd like to reinforce it with something else, and that would be the neck. Now, I don't know if any of you are as obsessive compulsive as I am, but I have been accused of that. And this is the packing paper once I have smoothed it out and folded it up. And what I did with this, for this particular project, I cut 1.5 to 2 inch strips of this packing paper, and that's what I'm going to use to reinforce the base of the wreath. Start by taping down one end of the wreath, and then taking your strip of paper, just wind it. It's very much like putting on a tensor bandage, if any of you've ever done that. You kind of wrap it around and leave a little space, but overlapping about half of the previous loop. And you do that all the way around, and actually I do that twice. The second time around, I make the circles, the loops go the other way, so that kind of gives a crisscross reinforcing effect. I'll finish this and then show you what it. That's one layer done. Now for the second layer, you just start on what you kind of pick as the wrong side, and you just tape it on a bit of an angle, and you just start Now just winding it in the opposite direction of what you did before. So that gives it extra support. The first layer, it's going this way. The second layer is going that way. Okay? Okay, here's your finished wreath. Doesn't look too great, but we're going to do a next step that'll make it look a little bit better. Look at the colors that are in your wreath. And mine are predominantly more mustard, chocolate chip, old olive, or plum, or whatever. And you just take 3 of the colors, and literally we're going to take the ink pad and we're going to smear across it. So I start with the lightest color first, and actually, which is more mustard. And this can be a bit messy, so you know, if you want to wear gloves, that's fine. Wear protective clothing and just kind of go over it. The reason that you do this is that, you know, sometimes you're placing your lollies or whatever you're putting on the wreath, and some of the back of the wreath shows through. This way, if the colors coordinate with the colors in your wreath, then it's not so bad. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of old olive right on top of that. Maybe not quite as much. And then the last, some chocolate chip. And basically I'm just going to dab that in places. And just let that dry. Your wreath is almost ready to use. I'm just going to let this dry, and I'll show you how to put a little hanger on. Before I show you how to make the hanger, I'm just going to advise you to just reinforce the back. And I do that with masking tape. Unfortunately, I only had the very narrow. And if you have wider, that would probably be better. But you just put, and you know, it's not going to go on smoothly. You just put masking tape. Obviously, I'm going to have to do 3 rows of masking tape. And that'll reinforce it and actually helps to keep the paper down. It just keeps everything together. So I'll just finish doing that, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we're done taping. Now you do the same thing with the inking as you did on the front. And the reason for that I'll explain in a little while. Again, you start with your lightest color, and you just kind of smear it. Have fun with this. How often can you use the ink pad and just kind of make a mess, right? You say, well, this is the back. What does it matter? Well, you know, sometimes when people pick up a wreath, the first thing they do is look at the back. Now, with the chocolate chip, I'm just going to suggest that you ink the outside edges and the inside edges. If you work away at it, you'll get at it. And then just again, just there. Let that dry. And while that's drying, you can actually go ahead and cut another circle. And I used the same inking method, direct ink to paper, and that's going to be placed on top and will hide most of the back of the wreath. And you can see now why I suggested you ink the insides and the outsides of the edges, because it's not going to cover it completely. Okay. Now, before you attach the back to your wreath, I want to show you how to put on a little hanging tab. Decide where your top is going to be, and I'll just say arbitrarily right there. Just make a little pencil mark. And with the crocodile, with the largest hole, punch a hole through. And you take a piece of cord, whatever you have. I have mine wound around a ribbon roll. It comes in a package like the baker's twine. And what I do is I attach it to the back. This is about 7 inches, but if you want it longer, you can. If you want to double that or use a ribbon, you can. I've just used this, and you crisscross it at the back and put a piece of tape on it. Now, in addition, I also reinforce it with a piece of 1 1¼ inch circle that I will adhere right on that using my snail adhesive. Or a hot glue gun if you wish. And then a large brad, which is the same colors as basically the color scheme that you're using. Oops, get it through the holes that match. And voila. And if you want to go ahead and put ink over top of that as well, but you know, you don't really have to. And there you've got your wreath with your hanger. And the base is complete. My circle may not be 100% perfect, but it is the back, and it has covered up and most of the imperfections, and it provides a firm base for you to attach your lollies to. After all, it's probably taken you days to make all those lollies. So when you attach them to a base, you don't want them falling off, and you want the base to be sort of attractive. Thank you very much for watching.